Before we start talking about Michael Thomas potentially coming to Denver, selfishly I ask, if you have not subscribed yet, consider going ahead and doing so for two reasons. One, it's free content. Two, we're 16 subs away from 21,000. Someone commented on the last video or so saying I'm too negative on this team, which I'm just going to be honest with you guys every single video. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat things. But if we can get 21,000 subscribers or reach that number from today's video, I'll do 21 reasons to be optimistic for 2024 on a future show. Let's talk about Michael Thomas coming to Denver potentially. ESPN came out with a pretty nice article that had 20 free agents with the best fit for each guy. And, well, Denver was labeled as a best fit for one player, the former Saints wide receiver. So let's discuss the possibility of Michael Thomas coming to Denver. Does it make sense? Could I see it happening? Would I make this move? All that stuff. Now, Michael Thomas, as we know, has been very unavailable for the last few seasons. He's actually only played in 29% of the games since 2020. That was the year after he set the NFL receptions record in 2019. Now, Thomas in New Orleans has not been a good fit the last few seasons. Last year, he had an injury, cut his season short. He took to social media to start blaming Derek Carr for a bad pass that led to the injury. He was liking some not so nice tweets about his teammates. It was an ugly fallout down in New Orleans. But Sean Payton wasn't there. So maybe that's the glue that Thomas needs to get back on track. Here's what Barnwell wrote, though. Denver's roster is in flux as it rebuilds post-Russell Wilson. But after trading Jerry Jeudy, it looks like it will run with Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims as its top two wideouts. Tim Patrick took a pay cut to return, but he has missed each of the last two seasons with injuries. Thomas could reunite with former coach Sean Payton and compete with Patrick for that third wideout role. My initial reaction to this is you want to bring in Michael Thomas, a guy that's battled injuries the last couple of years, to compete with Tim Patrick, a guy who has missed the last two seasons with injuries, and then Courtland Sutton as the team's number one guy who is losing speed by the year, it looks like. That doesn't seem like a very good wide receiver room right there. Only having Marvin Mims as a player that could run faster than a 4.5 40, I don't think that's the type of speed Sean Payton is looking to acquire. And if you think about the last few games in the 2023 season, when Denver just got punked a little bit, what were their demises? It was teams with speed, like the Lions game. Denver just looked like they were playing at a completely different rate than Detroit was that game. So for that reason alone, I'm not interested in Michael Thomas. But I've got more, right? The character concerns are very real. Not a huge fan of him just throwing his quarterback under the bus. That doesn't seem like something that will jive well in another locker room. How about the fact that he has sucked the last 3-4 years? 4 years, missed all of 2021. Injuries suck. They are out of players' control, but it's not just a one-off. It's a pattern. And I feel like you can make a pretty good bet that Michael Thomas, if he does play in 2024, likely won't play anywhere near 17 games. Now, give the guy credit. Like, the start of his career was incredible. I kind of forgot truly just how good he was. 4 straight seasons of 1,100-plus yards to open up his NFL career. One of the best starts just from a statistical standpoint to any wide receiver's career. And then a huge dramatic fall off after a high ankle sprain turned into him missing a whole lot of football from other injuries as well down the road. So what do you think? Should the Broncos sign Michael Thomas? I'm not interested, but if you are, disagree with me in the comment section. That's perfectly fine. Go use your First Amendment right and sound off down below. Like I said, I would not sign Michael Thomas, but I also know this much. Definitely doesn't matter what I would do. It really only matters what one person would do, and that's Sean Payton. And it may not make a lot of sense to add Michael Thomas for reasons we've already outlined, but all that goes out the window when you're talking about a former Saints player, right? Because there has been an absolute jet stream from New Orleans to Denver. We have seen, and maybe I've even forgotten a guy or two, 10 players so far who played at some point in New Orleans under Sean Payton come get a roster spot with the Broncos. So for that reason alone, you can't rule out Michael Thomas coming to Denver, not because of what the Broncos wide receiver room looks like or anything related to filling a void after trading Jerry Jeudy. No, it's because this guy played for Sean Payton. They could still have Jerry Jeudy, and I could still see Sean Payton having an itch to reunite with his former all-pro wide receiver and feel like he can get some of that production still out of him in Denver. Now, we haven't seen Tim Patrick in a long time, so no idea what to expect on that front. Now, Courtland Sutton comes off a really good touchdown season, 10 hauls altogether, but was kind of lacking maybe a little bit outside of the red zone from time to time. Still had some big plays down the field. Marvin Mims, I thought, had a really good start to the year in the receiver room. Not really sure why he slowly got phased out as the weeks progressed and morphed into just a special teamer for this team, but I still think we saw enough from him to be optimistic that he's ready to take on more on his plate in 2024 with Jerry Jeudy gone. Now, if you're curious, the other free agents that ESPN linked to other teams, I'll just share that with you so you don't have to go through the paywall. Odell Beckham Jr., these were other guys that they had. Oh, I beg your pardon. I lied. These are other free agent wide receivers. I got ahead of myself. So if you're not interested in Michael Thomas, here are 9 other free agents. OBJ, Tyler Boyd, Michael Gallup. I like Tyler Boyd the most of all the names on the left side of the screen. Then you got Thomas, DJ Chark, Russell Gage, Mecole Hardman, Josh Reynolds. Russell Gage didn't play at all last year. He got hurt in training camp, but I felt like he still played well before that with Atlanta and Tampa. So Boyd and Gage would be the 2 players I am most interested in these other remaining free agent wide receivers. I would ultimately wait till the draft. I think that's your best avenue to improve this wide receiver room. There's not a whole lot of healthy guys on the market right now. All the good players have been signed. Maybe Tyler Boyd for the same type of role that he had in Cincinnati of a wide receiver 3, right? Let him and Tim Patrick kind of battle that out after Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims. But I think Tyler Boyd still might be able to get a decent-ish contract in free agency. And I don't think the Broncos are looking to spend much more than the vet min. So, like I was trying to say earlier, here are the other remaining or the other ESPN best fits for the free agents still out there. They had Jamal Adams going to the Falcons, David Bakhtiari off to Pittsburgh, OBJ to New Orleans, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the Bills, Zeke to the Giants, Michael Gallup to Charger, Hunter Renfrow is a Steeler, Tannehill to the Bears. Then you've got Thomas to the Broncos, Tre'Davious White to the 49ers. I could definitely see that last one happening. Julian Blackmon going back to the Colts, although I think he just took a visit with the 49ers, or did he even sign with the 49ers? He might have already signed. I don't know. Calais Campbell to the Eagles. Again, these are just ESPN's projections or recommendations, I should say. Clowney's a Dolphin. Gilmore to the Ravens. I like Xavier Howard to the Chiefs for, just obviously Kansas City having a knack for getting good DB production. Steven Nelson's a Raider. That feels like it's going to happen. Justin Simmons to Buffalo. That one also feels like it's got some legs to it. Wouldn't be shocked if the Titans were after him, though. Donovan Smith to the Bears. Laken Tomlinson to the Cowboys. And Ahkello Witherspoon to the Rams. All right. Well, that will do it for us on today's show. I don't want to take up any more of your March Madness time. Morehead State up by 4 against Illinois right now. 10 minutes to go. Oh, big 3 from the Illini. So, we will keep you guys posted on more Broncos content as the offseason progresses. So a reminder to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.